Brazil, 2002. A chilling crime shattered the nation's peace. The Richthofen case. It wasn't just a murder, it was a betrayal. A web of lies, manipulation, and shocking violence. The victims: Manfred and Marísia von Richthofen, a respected couple from Sao Paulo. Their daughter Suzane became the center of this horrifying story. The news spread like wildfire. Fear and disbelief gripped the country. How could something like this happen? In the heart of a seemingly perfect family, darkness lurked. The Richthofen name, once synonymous with success, became a haunting reminder of life's fragility. This case, etched in Brazil's memory, continues to fascinate and disturb. It serves as a reminder of the darkness that can hide beneath the surface. In the shadows of wealth, a sinister plan was hatched, forever changing the lives of those involved. This is the story of the Richthofen case, a journey into the heart of a crime that shocked a nation. We'll delve into the lives of those involved: Suzane, the daughter; Daniel Kravinhos, the boyfriend; his brother Christian. Each played a part in this macabre drama. Our exploration goes beyond the headlines. We unravel the complex relationships, the simmering tensions, and the calculated steps that led to a horrific act. What drove this seemingly ordinary young woman to betray her own flesh and blood? Through eyewitness accounts, expert analysis, and court transcripts, we piece together the events leading up to that fateful night. The truth, often stranger than fiction, will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about family, trust, and the depths of human depravity. Brace yourselves. This is not just a story. It's a chilling descent into the abyss of human cruelty. It's a reminder that evil can wear many faces, even the face of innocence. Suzane von Richthofen, a name that would forever be etched in the annals of Brazilian crime. But before the darkness, there was a seemingly ordinary girl. Blonde, attractive, and intelligent, Suzane embodied the image of privilege and promise. Born into a wealthy family in Sao Paulo, Suzane had everything she could ever want. Her parents, Manfred and Marísia, were devoted to their daughter, providing her with a comfortable life and a bright future. She excelled in school, a model student with a thirst for knowledge. To the outside world, Suzane had it all: a loving family, a good education, and a life full of opportunities. She moved through the world with an air of quiet confidence, her future seemingly paved with gold. However, beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. A storm that would shatter the facade of perfection and reveal the darkness lurking within. Enter Daniel Kravinhos, a young man from a different world. Unlike Suzane's privileged upbringing, Daniel came from a more modest background. Their paths crossed in the most ordinary of settings, the bustling hallways of their school. The connection was instant, drawing them together despite their differences. Suzane, drawn to Daniel's rebellious spirit, found herself increasingly captivated by this boy who seemed so different from the people in her world. But their romance was met with resistance. Manfred and Marísia, accustomed to a life of order and respectability, saw Daniel as a threat to their daughter's future. They disapproved of his background, his family, his very essence. Their disapproval, however, only served to fuel Suzane's rebellion. The seeds of resentment began to take root, growing with every disapproving glance, every hushed whisper. The once happy von Richthofen home became a battleground. Manfred and Marísia, desperate to save their daughter from what they saw as a disastrous relationship, tightened their grip on Suzane's life. Every interaction became strained, every conversation thick with tension. Suzane, used to a life of freedom and indulgence, chafed under her parents' control. Daniel, once a symbol of rebellion and excitement, now represented a life that seemed increasingly out of reach. The walls were closing in, suffocating her dreams of a future with the man she loved. As the pressure mounted, Suzane retreated further into herself. The bright, cheerful girl who once graced the halls of their home was gone. In her place was a stranger, her eyes cold, her heart hardened by resentment and a growing sense of desperation. Isolated and filled with rage, Suzane found a willing ear in Daniel. He too harbored resentment towards her parents, whose disapproval was a constant reminder of the gulf that separated their worlds. Together, they plotted and schemed, their conversations taking on a sinister tone. At first, The plans were vague, fueled by anger and a desire to escape her parents' suffocating control. But as days turned into weeks, the whispers between them grew darker, more desperate. The idea, once unthinkable, began to take root in their minds, a permanent solution to their problems. Christian, Daniel's younger brother, was drawn into the web of deceit. Easily influenced and eager to please his brother, Christian became a pawn in their twisted game. The bond between them, forged in secrecy and fueled by a shared desire for revenge, would have devastating consequences. The once unthinkable became the only option. Murder, a word whispered in the dead of night, became their shared obsession. They planned with chilling precision, their young faces masks of cold calculation, as they plotted the deaths of Manfred and Marísia. Suzane, her knowledge of her parents' routine now a weapon, provided the blueprint for their macabre plan. Every detail was meticulously analyzed, every obstacle anticipated. They acted with frightening resolve, their young minds warped by a toxic mix of love, resentment, and greed. The plan was audacious, terrifying in its simplicity. They would wait until the early hours when Manfred and Marísia were most vulnerable, their defenses down. It would be swift, brutal, and final. And when the deed was done, they would be free to claim their prize, a life of freedom and wealth built on a foundation of blood. October 31st, 2002, Halloween night, a night for costumes and candy. But in a quiet neighborhood in São Paulo, a different kind of horror was about to unfold. The von Richthofen home was shrouded in an ominous silence. Manfred and Marísia slept, oblivious to the evil lurking just outside their door. Downstairs, Suzane paced. This was the night she would betray her parents' trust. Outside, Daniel and Christian waited in the shadows. Their faces, usually marked by youthful bravado, were grim, their eyes hardened with resolve. They clutched their weapons, the cold metal a stark contrast to the warmth of the summer night. Doubt gnawed at their minds, but it was too late to turn back. With a signal from Suzane, the brothers slipped silently into the house. Each step was a betrayal, every creak of the floorboards a deafening reminder of the sanctity they were about to violate. They moved silently through the house, their steps guided by Suzane's whispered instructions, their hearts beating in unison with the ticking of the clock. They reached the bedroom door. The air was heavy with the scent of sleep and the bitter tang of fear. Daniel hesitated, a flicker of doubt crossing his face. But Christian, emboldened by a toxic mix of loyalty and adrenaline, pushed the door open, and the nightmare began. Dawn broke, casting its golden rays over São Paulo, oblivious to the horror that had unfolded just hours before. The von Richthofen home, once a symbol of affluence and tranquility, now held a dark secret within its walls. It was Suzane who made the call, her voice a convincing performance of grief and shock. Police arrived to find a scene of chaos. The house was in disarray. Furniture overturned, drawers ransacked, a scene of violence that sent chills down the spines of even the most seasoned officers. The gruesome discovery in the master bedroom made their blood run cold. Manfred and Marísia lay in their bed, their bodies battered beyond recognition. The violence inflicted upon them was shocking in its intensity, a testament to the rage that had fueled their killer's hands. It was a scene that would be forever seared into the minds of all who witnessed it. At first glance, the scene suggested a robbery gone wrong. The chaos, the stolen valuables, all pointed to a crime of opportunity. But as investigators began to piece together the puzzle, inconsistencies emerged, casting a long shadow of doubt over Suzane's account of that night. Her demeanor, too calm, too controlled for a grieving daughter, raised red flags. Her story, though told with practiced conviction, crumbled under scrutiny. The investigators, their instincts honed by years of experience, sensed something was amiss. Their suspicions deepened when they uncovered inconsistencies in the brothers' alibis. Daniel, initially evasive, cracked under the pressure of interrogation, his carefully constructed facade crumbling like a house of cards. His confession sent shockwaves through the investigation, exposing the horrific truth. After weeks of testimony, the jury reached a verdict: guilty. The courtroom erupted in a whirlwind of emotions. Suzane von Richthofen, the Golden Girl, now a convicted murderer. The judge sentenced Suzane to 39 years in prison. Daniel received the same sentence. Christian was sentenced to 38 years and 6 months. The sentences did little to ease the family's pain. The von Richthofen name, now synonymous with one of Brazil's most shocking crimes. The Richthofen case, a chilling tale of betrayal and brutality, continues to cast a long shadow over Brazil. More than 2 decades have passed since that fateful Halloween night, but the memory of the brutal murder of Manfred and Marísia von Richthofen endures. The image of Suzane, their daughter, orchestrating their deaths alongside her boyfriend, Daniel Kravinhos, shattered the nation's perception of family and trust. The Richthofen case serves as a chilling reminder that evil knows no socioeconomic boundaries. This case, forever etched in Brazil's collective memory, stands as a cautionary tale.